I hope your day is full of creme brulee and strawberry shortcake and cheesecake and souffles. You gotta have a souffle, sweetie. It's a dessert intro. Hope your day's full of apple pie a la mode. Hope your day's full of sundaes with the cherry on top. Let's get into this week's episode. It's a fun episode. Welcome. Happy, what day is it? I know, Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, guys. We have an amazing episode of Shank for you with the one, the only Alexis Neiers. But before we get into this week's episode with Alexis Neiers, there's just one thing I want to tell you about, and that's Oh Yeah socks. Oh yeah. Look down at your feet right now. Are you wearing socks? If you're not wearing socks, ask yourself why. Cover up your toes. You can't just be giving away those toes for free. You need something cute, something soft to cover them. Shop Oh Yeah, that's 3 O's, HYEAH.com, discount code Sara10. What I love most about Oh Yeah socks is that they have so many different fun designs to choose from. Recently, they have the Petite Little Prince, that children's book. They made little socks and they're so cute, and I ordered them and I can't wait to get them. They've got socks for everyone in your life, whether they're into aliens or Dungeons and Dragons or Bob Ross. There's a pair of socks for the person in your life, okay? Shop ohyeah.com, discount code Sara10. They make great Valentine's Day gifts, make great I'm thinking of you, I'm sorry I fucked your friend, here I have a pair of socks gifts. Whatever it's for, there's a pair of socks for you, okay? Also, I will be on December 14th, not December, we're in February. Okay, quick reset there. February 14th, I will be at Supernova Comedy with Kimberly Congdon. We are doing spots there for Valentine's Day. So if you're in Hollywood and you don't have plans, it's going to be a really fun show. It's at the Bourbon Room. It's a really fun venue, a really fun show. Come out to see that. Also, March 19th, Kim and I are going to be at Mic Drop Comedy in San Diego for a night. And then in June, we're coming to Arizona to the new Mic Drop place. We're there for 2 nights. More details on that coming soon. And there's a chance I'll be in Austin in March and April. So just keep checking in here for show dates and give me a follow at Princess Shank on Instagram and Twitter for more information. And then subscribe to my Patreon if you want bonus content. Patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk for ad-free content. And then let's get into this week's episode of Shank with the one, the only Alexis Neiers. Everyone, here it is. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Shank. I'm Sara Weinshenk, and today's guest is one of my favorite people.
Stop.
Alexis Neiers.
Oh, I love you too.
I love you. I love having you on my pod.
I'm like the worst friend to you, though. I was thinking about that as I was driving up here.
Why?
Because you're always so sweet. You're like, come hike with me. Come do this. Come do that. And I'm like, I have every intention of doing so, and then life just gets so crazy that I'm like, I fucking can't.
No, I
hate that.
But I also get it because I'm busy too.
Okay.
So I'm never like taking it personally.
Fine.
I'm never like, oh, Alexis is just ignoring me.
Thank
like
God.
I'm not that type of person.
Okay.
I'm like, she's probably busy being a mom.
Because I love you, and I hate
too.
that in LA, all of the friends are like fair weather friends. They really are. It's so fake. There's no room for like deep, meaningful friendships out here.
It is fake. It is so fake as hell out here, out in these streets of Los Angeles, sweetie, left and right.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and it's so funny because there was all this TikTok drama this last week about how influencers are lying to us about the makeup they wear and the things that they like. And it's like, no fucking shit. No fucking shit. It's all fucking fake. And I can't tell you, I've had so many people on my podcast who are like, I love you. I would love to go get lunch. I would love to hang out. You know, you're just like, you just make me feel so good. And then you never hear anything. You know what I mean?
Never heard anything
and
again.
I fucking hate that because it's like, I want deep, meaningful friendships with like-minded people. And then here you are, who I absolutely adore. And I'm like, I can't even fucking make it to Topanga, which is 20 minutes from my house.
I'm shocked you made it here. I was like, there's no way she's going to be able to make it last minute. And you made it.
For you. What did I say? I said, anything for you. You text me at 8 p.m. the night before you want a podcast at noon the next day. I will fucking drive to Hollywood for you.
And that's why I love you. What a queen. So what's going on? Like, what's been happening since we've last spoke?
The last podcast is really unhinged.
It was all over
Do you
the
remember
map.
that?
Yeah, we were in my bed.
We were talking about my
independent.
porn preferences.
Yeah.
Like, how did that all end up transpiring that way? God.
Oh yeah, no, your porn preferences was
They were
sex
wild.
doll.
Yeah.
A man caring for a sex doll.
Yeah.
Because I remember that because I saw someone I found since that podcast. I actually
Are there others like me? Is
there's
that what
a
you're telling
man
me?
on Instagram who has an Instagram for his sex doll.
Oh,
and he
wow.
like positions her. They'll like look at the sunset together, and he'll like grab her ass at the sunset, and then post that as a picture.
Yeah, I don't know
wish
what's
I
wrong
knew
with me, or maybe nothing's wrong with me.
the sex doll thing.
Yeah, maybe I'm just weird.
Would you have a threesome with a sex doll?
No.
No.
It's like, it's just this, I mean, God, we're already just really diving right back into this. I don't know. It's just this, this weird thing about just being used and abused. Like, I get it. I have a fucking weird kink about that. So it's not so much about like, it's about like, I just want to be a sex doll. You know what I mean?
Oh, you
Yeah.
have the fantasy of you're the sex
Just
doll.
pleasure
like
pot.
you want him to treat you like a sex doll, not like you're into also incorporating a sex doll.
No, not into sex doll stuff at all.
No,
Although,
yeah.
isn't a dildo just a sex doll? And I'm really into those. So
A dildo is just a sex doll, like a
pocket pussy.
yeah, an undeveloped I feel like it's like if you're gonna have a dildo, it's like why not just have a sex doll?
I don't know. It's like
I
don't
Yeah,
need the
it's
whole
weird.
thing.
It is
And I don't
weird.
need to engage in that way. It's just like I want to be treated that way.
Right.
Like worshipped that way, but also just like
Right.
told what to do and like maneuvered around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm weird.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is
No,
what it
it's
is.
not weird.
What's been new with me? Fuck. Well, I got divorced. I was already divorced. when I
yeah,
was
you
on
were
the podcast.
divorced. How are you feeling post-divorce? What's the latest?
Divorce is still unfolding. But you know what I'm finding? This is a left turn.
Divorce and sex dolls. That's why I love having you on the podcast.
We're just taking it over to the other side.
Yeah.
This experience has radically opened my heart and made
That's
me
beautiful.
Yeah, I know. And now people are like, oh, this is not the content we want. But
She's wholesome.
fuck. No, I'm not. I'm all the things. And that's the other thing too. It's like, it's radically opened my heart and shifted. I did a course in miracles like years and years ago. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Is
the
that
course
Marianne
in
Williams?
No, so she wrote the book A Return to Love, which was like her perspective and teachings on A Course in Miracles, which is great. The book is great. I'm actually re-listening to that right now in my car as I was driving over here. But I did the Course in Miracles years and years ago, and these moments that just rock us, getting divorced after 10 years, like fucking rocked my world, right?
That's
These
insane.
moments, these like tower moments, these moments where you feel like your whole life is coming crashing down, like are the moments to soften and open. And I think a lot of us harden and shut down and sit in trauma loops over and over again. And this has just really deepened my ability to love and to extend love to my ex-partner, and to just like all things, so that's been profound. And the other thing is just really stepping into my feminine energy. And I'm someone who like presents very feminine, obviously. Even when I'm dating women, like I'm the femme in the relationship, obviously. And I realized though, just in my energy, like the belief systems that I still had around, I have to take care of myself. No one's going to take care of me. I have to get this done. And it was all about like doing and not being or receiving. And that's been a major shift for me too, is like moving into this receiving, receptive, open place where it's like I don't have to fix, manage, or control. I can just be. It's deepened my ability to be present, to be mindful, just to be soft. And it feels really good. And I feel like I'm being well taken care of. And not by any human, but just by spirit, source, whatever, my fucking higher self. I don't know. Anyway, that was the left turn of the century.
That's so beautiful because every
I
time
want to be treated like a sex doll and
and I'm in my soft girl era. That's so beautiful because every time I go through a breakup, I'm like, this is a divorce, sweetie. I don't know how you've done it, and you made it look so like, well, you've done it with such grace.
Well, that's the thing too, is that everyone's like, how are you okay? You know, like I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom, one of whom is special needs, and I'm their primary parent, primary caregiver. And the things that led to my divorce were really messy and really challenging, and hard. Divorce is hard, period. Even if you are on good terms and you're in a good space and you leave lovingly, which ours was a mixture of that and some chaos, but it's still tough. And again, I think it just goes back to like perspective. Like whatever is for me finds me, you know. Whatever work I need to do is presented. Whatever, you know, it's a perspective of this is an opportunity rather than, you know, it's like I remember right when he left, like right when he served me, I don't even know, well, whatever, a year ago. And I remember laying in my bedroom in the fetal position, just like primally crying my eyes out. And I was like, why is this happening to me? Why? Like that's what it really broke down to, is like my ego and all of this. Like I've been a good girl. I've done all of the things that I think I've been guided to do. I'm a good person. I'm loving. I'm tolerant. I'm kind. I don't cause harm. I live in alignment with, you know, the spiritual foundation of my recovery. I do all of, like, why me, you know? And I heard this really powerful voice within that was like, I'm doing this for you, not to you. And I can clearly see over the last year how it was for me and how that relationship, while I loved Evan and I did believe him to be my soulmate, I realized that he served a purpose and that relationship wasn't healthy for me anymore and that it was time to move on. And the miracles of the last year have just continued to show me how this was for me and not to me, you know, and that's the perspective shift.
Right. You're so smart and profound. You have these realizations that I have to be alone on a mountain on a microdose of mushrooms to get to this place.
That works too, babe.
Yeah, but it just kind of just comes through you. It's very fun to talk to you because you have such powerful spiritual insight too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I love having a spiritual conversation with a spiritual queen. Because a lot of times I'm on here just talking about my pussy, so it's nice to.
But that's like totally spiritual too, yeah. Which I think is, you know, that's like the disconnect is like when we, you know, and I was thinking actually a couple of days ago as I was in the car and I was, you know, I don't even know. Sometimes I just have these fucking streams of consciousness that usually happen when I'm in my shower or driving in my car. I think it's just when like shit's quiet. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm reading a book right now about how creativity comes when the mind is quiet. So it makes sense that it would happen in the car.
Yeah. In the shower, late at night. You know, it's not so much when I meditate. Meditating for me is still a challenge. You know, like it's me literally sitting there and going, return to breath. You know, my mind is just all over the place most of the time. You know, and the periods of stillness in between have gotten longer and longer and bigger, but still I have to it's like an active thing. It's not just like this passive experience. But, oh God, I was just thinking about how fucked up the world is just because we suppress our sexuality in the name of purity and religion and thinking things would be better if we did. And
especially in the U.S.
But all over, honey.
Do you think they're suppressed in Europe, like in France? I feel like in France they get down.
the French people are probably pretty sexually liberated, but I think in most religious countries. So if you're thinking about much of Europe and Middle East and wherever else, pretty fucking suppressed.
Yeah, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that needs to come out some way, and then it comes out in anger instead
so,
of love.
I was talking in the car yesterday and about what I want for my life and how living under this system is just not really sustainable for me anymore. So I'm changing the way I work now. I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you're welcome that I'm here.
Oh my God, you only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That's it, babe.
3 days.
3 days a week,
That's
6
smart,
hours
though.
a day. That's it. 3 days a week, 6 hours a day. That's it. I don't work more than that. And but I was talking about what I want and how I want to move towards more of like a homesteading situation and get my kids out of public school and spend more time with them and go back to homeschooling. We homeschooled in 2020. Yeah, the year of COVID.
You homeschooled them in 2020.
Yeah,
okay.
and it was great. And it was kind of this co-op situation with my best friend at the time, and it was wonderful. Anyway, and the person I was talking to was like, maybe the Amish have it figured out. And I said, yeah, I mean, aside from fucking goats, they have it figured out. And it's like, they so do. They have it all figured out except for the sexual repression part. You know what I mean?
Right.
The
community part.
The community, the living off the land, the connection to one another, the connection to the land. And I'm not saying technology is like a bad thing or that we should like move away from it. And at the same time, I'm saying technology is a bad thing.
We should move away from it. Well, I think it serves its purpose. So it's
does.
about limiting it, right?
Exactly. But how do you limit something that you're addicted to? And I think, that's kind of the question that, as I'm looking at my kids and, I'm sitting there like setting their time limits on their iPads and refusing to get my fourth grader a cell phone. Everyone in fourth grade has a cell phone.
No.
Everyone in fourth grade has a fucking cell phone, and I'm the mean mom that won't get her a cell phone.
In fourth grade?
Fourth grade, dude. And I'm like, no, maybe when you're 13. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll get you a flip phone when you're 13, dude. Have to be the loser with the flip phone. That's the thing with my oldest daughter. She's so beautiful. You have to humble her ass. Like you have to make her like the loser. I love her so much. She's so fucking beautiful and so talented. And school just comes so easily to her. Like she's in GATE. She's in all these programs. She gets straight A's. Math is like a breeze for her. I can't even fucking do her Common Core shit in fourth grade. No. It's so tough. She's like a competitive dancer and just fucking brilliant. And like sometimes you just gotta like check them a little bit. You know what I mean?
We're not getting you an iPhone.
No, remember the awkward phase?
Me. Yeah, that also scares me to have 14-year-old an iPhone. No,
I know it's tough. It's a tough thing.
Put her in a jail and keep her in there.
It's tough.
I wouldn't want her to go out of the house.
I just think about like that even if we were like the pretty popular girls in school, which I wasn't, I was kind of like somewhere in the middle.
In middle school, no.
But we had to be fucking losers too. Like my loser years, those shaped me into who I am.
Same.
Being
to
a
my
fucking
core.
dork.
To my fucking core. The way I was in middle school, why do you think I'm a comic?
Yeah.
I brought a chia pet to my classroom and was like, can this be the school pet? While I was wearing retainers. I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, of course. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. And like, I feel like
a loser. And I didn't even know I was a loser.
So we need that, And she's actually really getting into anime right now, which I think is great. I'm like, yeah, become a fucking Pokemon nerd, dude. Yes. Like, please lean into that.
Yes.
Yeah. She wants like I'm forgetting Kuromo. Birthday party. Is it Kuromi?
Can you look
I
it
don't know.
up?
It's like Kuromi, or it's like the dark, like the emo. She's also becoming a little emo, which I'm like, yeah, fucking let's listen to the Used and rock out.
I love an angsty emo.
No, not Kuromo. No, take out the anime. Kuromi.
Kuromi?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
That?
Yeah. Yeah, that thing. She likes the little double one. Yeah, she's like she wants like a Kuromi fucking birthday party. And I'm like, sick, dude. Yeah.
Where do you get Kuromi from?
It's fucking Amazon.
Kuromi's
straight from China.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like what she's into.
And so, you know, she's becoming a little emo, and I have to, like, you know, balance her, because I was a real emo. Like my parents actually abused me. So I had like a reason to, you know, black out my eyes and like get beat up in a mosh pit.
Right.
You know, and I have to remind her that, like, being a sad girl isn't fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay if you're like into the music and the aesthetic, but that shit like can like really shape you and make you actually depressed.
That
and I'm
is
like,
a good reminder.
Yeah, like I had a reason to be depressed, dude. You know, and you don't. So
and also, like, people don't want to be around a sad girl. It's not good energy to be putting out, but it's okay to have sad girl moments.
And that's what I'm teaching her. I'm like, it's okay to occasionally feel sad. It's not okay to make sadness your personality. You know what I mean? And I can see her totally slipping into that if I'm not careful. So, you know, I'll throw her the fucking Chromie birthday party and you know, she's an amazing artist too. That's the other thing. Like she's gonna be like the next big thing at Pixar animation. Like she's that good, and she's been an amazing. She's been drawing since she was like 2, and just from her mind, like not tracing shit.
What are some of the things you've learned from being a mom?
Oh,
like,
fuck!
I know that's like a such a multi-layered question, but like. I just think, like, I can't wait to have that experience because I know it's going to deepen my understanding of not only myself, but also the world.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so I just bragged a lot about my oldest kid who's almost 10 and in 4th grade and neurotypical. And then I have my littlest Dakota who is 6 and she's autistic. And
she's so cute.
She's so cute. She's autistic, and she's got pathological demand avoidance and sensory processing disorder and OCD and all of these things. And she's my fucking greatest teacher, dude. You know, I mean, Harper is too, obviously. Like, I'll tell you a specific event with Harper, right? And this is kind of the difference between my kids. Like, so with Harper's been a bit of like trauma healing for me. So when I got pregnant with Harper, I was so adamant about having a home birth. And I didn't know why. I just felt called to that experience. And I wanted to control exactly who was at my birth, how my birth transpired, as if we have control over any of those things.
Over birth.
But I had this like I had this fear, and I didn't know what the fear was, that if it didn't go well, that it would destroy me. And so I got the midwife, and I was very clear that I just wanted her and my husband at the time there. And so sure enough, 37 weeks, my water breaks, and I start, you know, the process of giving birth at home, and we get in the tub, and it's time for me to push, and I'm pushing for like 2 hours. And in those moments, I can feel resistance in my body to actually letting her come.
Okay.
And so my body's kind of working against me, but only because psychologically there was a block there. I'll tell you in a second what that was. Anyway, she was also working with me, and it turns out she was breech, so her butt came down, not her head, and we had to transfer and have a C-section. And I thought for a long time that the trauma was in the transfer and the C-section, but it wasn't. The trauma was that I had so much unprocessed sexual abuse and trauma that I hadn't met with. And the idea, I thought I was going to manage and control it, and this was totally unconscious. Which is why I think working and the work that I do with people and their subconscious and unconscious mind is so powerful, because we're not revealed these things until we go to these places and unveil them. But the idea of something so forcefully coming out of me, the idea of not having control of my body, the idea of having other people see my body was so traumatic for me that I think my body protected me and she protected me, and that's why I ended in a C-section rather than completing that birth at home. So that's, and there was another instance when she was in the bathtub when she was like 4, and something hurt her. I think she got, you know how it is when you get like soap in your vagina, it fucking burns. Something happened like that, and she was hysterically crying, and it triggered something that like I was hurting her. And again, so that a lot of that trauma came up and out, and a lot of my early childhood came up and out through parenting her in those early years. And thank God I had the support, and I had the knowledge and internal guidance to like seek help and to go out and clear all of those things, which I did. Dakota's different. Dakota has made me realize the ways in which I am on the spectrum, and my non-neurotypical tendencies and the way that I mask. And it's so interesting because I've had to radically shift my perspective of the world, the way that I operate in it, and the way that she views it, and the way that I view it completely, because she has needs that only I know, that only I can sense, in order to function to the best of her ability in this world. And seeing the world, I'm self-diagnosed, on the spectrum, autistic, whatever you want to call it. I have always known that my mind doesn't work in the same way that, like, I have a really hard time maintaining eye focus, eye-to-eye contact, and things like that. But seeing the world through her eyes, slowing down, realizing how chaotic the world that we're living in is, how fast-paced it is, connecting with her heart to heart, regulating her nervous system even when I'm dysregulated, learning how to regulate my own nervous system so I can be the best parent for her, and learning to advocate for her relentlessly is healing my own inner child for all the ways that I wasn't advocated for.
That's so beautiful.
Totally different. My greatest fucking teachers, and I love them so much for it. And again, it's not this like weird transference of like, you're healing me. Like, they'll never know, because that can give you like a fucked up complex too. Like, here I am like healing my mom. But we all heal in relation to one another, right? Like, as much as our healing journeys are a solo mission, like, we heal in connection. We heal when these things are illuminated, and we, listen for the guidance and take the action that's necessary. So,
I mean, what you said about the Amish community, I'm so on board with.
Dude, I'm gonna buy.
Topanga, that's like
okay,
the life.
you're not gonna. It's not gonna be Topanga because I can't afford Topanga. But I'm telling you,
don't manifest that. You don't know. It could be.
I'm tell you, no, it's not gonna be Topanga. Okay, it's not gonna be Topanga. I just already know.
Okay.
There is this community inland from Oceanside called Fallbrook.
Okay.
And I follow this creator who has an avocado farm up there.
Okay.
And this is what I'm a fucking powerful manifestor, dude. So I feel like I shouldn't even be talking about this because I should just like keep it on the hush hush. But like, even this jacket, like, I just manifested this jacket the other day, and
the jacket's so good.
I'm in love with it.
Wait, how did you manifest the jacket? You're like, I need a suede.
Yeah.
Jacket.
I was like, I really want an authentic 1960s to 70s suede French jacket. And I was like, I'll trust that it will come. I looked online and stuff, and I found several that like I didn't love. And then I was just walking around LA the other day, and there was this guy with a like pop-up tent on the street as they do in LA, you know, like in one of the alleys.
He's like, hey,
and I was like, I think I need to go down there. And like, there was the fucking jacket. And I was like, it's perfect. There it is. It's little things like that just kind of like pop. But anyway, there's this land. It's got 3 properties on it already built. And it's on 22 acres with an active avocado farm on it. 22 acres. Lucky number, honey. Okay. Well, yeah, it's got three houses on the property, and I'm calling in that or something better. That's how I do it. I'm like, you know, God will align me wherever I need to go. But I'm definitely shifting. It's so interesting because I thought I wanted the house in the suburban neighborhood with the white picket fence and all of the friends and the kids and da-da-da-da. Nope, I don't. I love being alone or with my select few people. I want to live off the land. You know, I want to be in nature with my kids. I want a slower pace of life. I want
connecting
quality.
with nature. I think is so important for kids too.
Yeah,
especially it's the opposite of technology.
And I love my kids' school, but they're just sitting in a fucking classroom for 8 hours a day, and it just kills me every day that I drop them off. I'm like, God, this is not the way it's supposed to be. And I think maybe because my mom raised me in Montessori schools, like before Montessori schools were cool. And so, you know, I had that when I was little, and I really loved it.
Yeah, I mean, the thought of going back to school to me is like going back to prison.
Oh, I know. My ex-husband's back in school. He's going to get his PhD in psychology. I'm like, dude, why?
The thought of going back?
No.
Ugh.
No.
I have reoccurring nightmares that I'm in school and I don't know where I'm supposed to be or my locker combination. And it's constant, dude. I'll be like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be and I don't remember my locker combination. And is it this letter? Is it that letter? Like pure anxiety. Pure anxiety of not knowing.
Yeah, no thanks. And
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Homeschool is where it's at. Okay, so like, are you imagining like are there animals on this farm?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like what kind? Let's live in the homeschool fantasy.
Yeah. So at one of the treatment centers, we had a working farm before the Woolsey fire burned everything down. And
no.
Yeah. Did you ever see those pictures of the alpacas on the beach?
No.
During the Woolsey fire, those were our animals. We had to rush them down to the water because we couldn't get them all out in time. It just happened so fast. But
alpacas by the beach.
Yeah. No, I loved that. So yeah, I would have chickens, ducks, goats, horses. I'd love a dairy cow. I think a dairy cow, you know, if you have enough land for grazing and all sustainable, you know, I really believe in regenerative agriculture. And so, yeah, I think it'd be really powerful. And that's what I'm calling into my existence, you know, me and the kids, partner or not, you know, just like, that's what I want.
That's beautiful. Are you still with your boyfriend?
I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's good. I mean, again, figuring out more and more of myself, of my triggers, of my
relationships are such good teachers.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, I got this shit. And then I get into a relationship and I'm like, bro, I don't have this shit at all. I don't even know who I thought I was. Like,
yeah, you know, there's been a lot of things recently that he's done that have just triggered the fuck out of me, and every time it's just been an opportunity to like release and align again. And you know, I think one of the biggest things that I've been working on is just focusing on my autonomy and my inner guidance system and my inner wisdom, and not looking for, you know, I think Evan and I didn't know myself, and so everything that he would share with me I would just agree with. And now in my 30s I have my own worldview and my own opinions, and sometimes we'll get in these heated conversations and I have to be like, Alexis, this is not a character assassination of you. Like, you're allowed to have, you know, and like a heated conversation isn't necessarily an argument. You know, it's just a
Yes.
very, you know, a passionate conversation.
Which is important to know, because anytime it gets a heated conversation, I'm like, we're fighting.
And
we're in a fucking fight.
exactly. And then like it triggers my inner child and I want to shut down, and it's just, you know, and so I've become a lot better with that. And the other thing, you know, and there's been great stuff too, because I realized that I still had a lot of really toxic belief systems about men and through this divorce, and that I thought that I had healed. And whenever I would share something that had to do with my challenge in motherhood or relationship, he would share his challenge through, you know, or his perspective from his male perspective. And that would really fucking trigger me, because I'm like, no, men don't have it hard. You guys have it all. You know what I mean? And then I came across this book called The Boy Crisis, and I started reading it, and it just like really blew my mind. So yeah, there's been like lots of growth and lots of.
What's The Boy Crisis
Oh
about?
my god, just read it. Just do yourself a favor and fucking read it. But it's really good, and it's written by a man who started his career in feminism and still is a feminist, but he talks about how in the feminist movement we're leaving men and boys behind, and
I can see that.
It's really powerful. Anyway, The Boy Crisis, great book. So yeah, I just, you know, again, the peeling of the onion, like just opening up further, you know, like Marianne Williams' book talks about, like a return to love, like just, you know, it's in those moments where we close off, where things trigger us and our heart shuts, we can feel it, and it's really about softening and opening.
I've had my heart completely shut before. I'll put the lock on the door, sweetie.
Oh wait, last time that I talked to you, you were dabbling going back to that guy.
Yeah.
Whatever happened with that?
Well, since then, we're talking casually. Haven't had sex. Second of all, I've been dabbling with, so much has happened. It's like I had dated the titty hunker, which we've talked about on my podcast before. The guy who would
just have to tell me later.
He was just honk my titties, and I had to break up with him because I was like, this is not like a free honk zone.
Okay.
My listeners know all about him.
Okay.
So I dated him. And then after that I had a fling with a guy who lived in New York, and that was really fun. But then he was like, I don't want anything serious. And then I was like, yeah, you live across the world. I'm going back home now.
Yeah.
And then I went to Texas, and then that's when I had my full bisexual awakening, and I went to the
I always knew you were a little gay.
We went to the strip club. Went to the strip club.
Is amazing.
We went to the strip club in Austin, and we were like, Kim and I were like, I think we're gay. We went 3 days in a row.
Are you a femme for femmes? Were
yes.
you? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I can get down with that.
Yeah, I went 3 days in a row to the strip club, and it's about when the strippers are like, again.
Yeah.
They were like, again, you guys are here. It's like, get a life. These bitches. These thirsty hoes.
I know. I love, I'm surprised you didn't jump on like Bumble for women in Austin and just like, or wherever you were.
No, because I fell in love with the stripper that's why I went back 3 days.
Oh, okay.
She finessed me. I was like,
I fell in love with a stripper in Vegas.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, God. It's tough.
You did?
Yeah. You know, they're just...
Because they're good at what they do.
They are, yeah. And I feel like for women, they're like much more, like usually you're not allowed to touch them.
Yes.
And you know, whatever. And I got a private dance on my 30th birthday, and the stripper literally stuck her tits in my mouth and just let me have at it. And I was like, oh God, you're so hot. She was gorgeous. I'm not usually into blondes, but she was a blonde. Super
I fell in love
tall.
with a blonde stripper too.
Something about the blonde strippers.
The blonde
it's
strippers,
so weird.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm usually into brunettes, but
the blonde stripper
she
had
did
me.
something for me.
It was bad. It was bad. I was like, take all my money.
Yeah. No, seriously.
And it's so crazy.
The thing
how
is,
fast
they're not
the money
usually
goes.
gay. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're gay for pay, but that's it.
And the money goes so fast.
It does.
I was like, it's literally. I thought that having $1,000 would last some time.
No, that's like just per night.
Laugh in your face, like get out more. I'm like, all right, this is a problem now. It's time to go back to LA now. But so yeah, so that's been what's up. Been on a journey, and then lots of comedy lately.
Would you ever date a woman? Like, would you ever go on like Bumble in LA and see?
I went on Raya with women in LA.
I feel like that would be really pitiful.
It's sad. It's a sad, dark scene. It's a very sad, dark scene.
Yeah. Bumble's better for women.
Bumble?
Yeah. Better than Hinge, too.
Hinge.
Hinge is good for men.
Hinge is good for men.
Yeah.
There's some hot guys on Hinge.
Yeah.
But Raya is bad for both.
Really? I always wanted to get on Raya, but they denied me. They're like, we don't allow burglars on our... we don't allow known thieves on our platform.
But she's healed.
Doesn't matter.
I can vouch for you.
Yeah, well, we tried that. I had like some major people in the industry
vouching
vouch for
for
me.
you. Like,
none.
I'll let her on all my precious jewels.
Yeah, no. Even Julia Fox said that she would, throw in a word for me. I said, I don't think it's going to work, Julia. Sorry. No. Not gonna work.
We gotta get her on Raya again.
No, I don't think it's for me.
You don't think you're gonna find someone who's into farming and homeschooling on Raya?
Not in LA. I think it's few and far between. And actually, my boyfriend's from Wisconsin, so I think that's why he's
perfect.
like kind of into it. Is like Midwestern boy. Like he sees the vision.
I'll tell you what though, being in the South, even in the South, I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere where I can't get an abortion. It makes me feel weird, and I can't smoke weed. It makes me feel bad and weird. But then the men were like opening doors left and right. I was like, this is a different type of energy here. Like I felt way more feminine. I felt like they were like, oh, let me get that for you. Everyone was nice.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what it's like.
Well, that's the push of the nuclear family. You know what I mean? It's like, that's, and it has its toxic shit for sure.
For sure.
But then there's also lots of good stuff too. So, it's like, how do we find that utopia? And that's the thing. It's that utopia is on my farm, and I'm going to get closer and closer to it, baby.
And I'm going to join. We'll live on a farm.
Yeah.
Cult.
There you go.
Well,
no, it cannot. No,
it's not a cult.
That's the thing, is it easily becomes a cult when you start worshiping one person. And no, this has to be like a communal
There's homeschooling.
Yes,
people are helping
everyone,
with it takes a village.
Yeah.
So it's like a little village.
Yeah.
I like that.
Predominantly of women.
I love that. Because like my neighbor has a baby, and I went over there yesterday, and it was so much fun. We went hiking, and then we all like took turns with the baby, and she like cooked, and it was just the flow of everything seems so easy. Yeah. Easier. Because it's like there's so many different hands helping.
Well, that's how it was supposed to be, like I love Gabor Mate. He says that throughout history, humans thrived in hunter-gatherer societies above all else. And I think that, as I was having this conversation a little whiles back with my boyfriend about, we were talking about why do men have midlife crises? And whatever.
That's such a good question.
It was a really deep conversation. But anyway, his perspective was that, it's a lot to be a provider in this day and age, and that his experience through his friends are that, their wives don't appreciate them and don't think that they do enough. And I said, okay, well, on the opposite side of that, there's women who are working round the clock, taking care of children and making the home you give her, or making the house you give her a home, and cooking the meals and taking care of the animals and doing all the things, and they feel burnt out. And I said, and it's neither of their faults, because traditionally we would have, or the systems in place that would fix this are moving away from a capitalistic society and taking care of workers and increasing the wage and doing all those things, right? Taking care of men in the workplace so that way.
Paternity leave, all of this
that,
stuff.
all of
Yeah.
that, right? The social structure that would support families. And then the other side of it for women is living in multi-generational housing, having community, being able to create enough space and slowing down enough that we can support new mothers and mothers with young children, universal pre-K, all of these things, right? And so, unfortunately, because we get so wrapped up in our stress and our problems, we see it as, this is my husband's fault. He doesn't do enough around here. You're not going to get an argument for me that women's unpaid labor and that, you know, that there aren't issues with men carrying the mental and physical load around the house. Like, obviously, right? Like, that's something that everyone shares about. But we also can't have that conversation without saying that part of that is just due to the way that we're operating as a society. And I think it plays a bigger role than we're willing to admit.
And that's why I liked that you said you only work those 3 days, because other countries are doing, I don't know what country it was, but they moved to the 4-day
work week. Yeah.
And I'm hoping we do that here too.
Never going to happen.
You don't think? Because we live in a capitalist society.
Hellhole. That's ran by two parties that are essentially the same.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, we're a long ways away from that. So the question then becomes, I mean, ideally, here's the thing, is ideally I wouldn't have to work for money at all, because I just love to create and I love to help and I love to share my knowledge, and I don't like doing it when it has to be in this pressure of I have to make X amount of dollars. Right? I don't like that. It just steals my joy.
It does.
I want to be in a more traditional relationship where I get to create in and out of my household, and I get to serve in and out of my household while I'm being taken care of, financially, emotionally, spiritually. That sounds ideal to me. Love that. Yummy.
She's got a clear vision.
Yeah. But for now, yeah, I mean, it's like, because I was stuck in that for a long time of having to work a 9 to 5. And then I started really over the last decade, like figuring out how I could become my own boss. And now, you know, I've gotten so good at what I do that I charge well above, you know, what a lot of people, like my birth work rates, you know, I'm charging $4,500 to be your birth doula, but I'm that good, you know, and that's what my fee is. So, you know, and there's doulas out there
that's about what it is. I feel
no, $1,500 to $2,000.
Honey, she's worth the $4,500.
I am, and that's the thing is, like, I battled and I serve, right? Like, I've attended for years, free births, low income births, whatever. It's just like I really need to focus on receiving and being well taken care of, so that way I can continue to output in service. And I was outputting in service for so many years and dedicating so much time for free to other people, and I felt burnt out at the end. And so I'm not doing that anymore. My coaching packages, the same, for, you know, $300 an hour, 3-month contract, $3,600. That's what it costs to work with me. And
and then when you have those rates and they're non-negotiable, it feels good. That's how I feel also about like selling ads on the podcast. Like, this is the rate. This is what it is.
And I give plenty of free content on all of my other platforms. So,
yeah,
you know. And
so do you love birth?
I love birth.
What about it?
Oh my God. I mean, women, you know,
it fucking freaks me out.
Does it?
Yeah.
What about birth? What's your biggest fear?
Just like all of like the guts coming out. Like the bloodiness of it. I don't like blood. It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah. Do you think any of it is, how do I put this? What about when you have your cycle?
I hate that too. What do you think? What do you think the problem is here?
Do you think any of it is a disconnect within your body and recognizing
For sure.
the sacred process. Yeah.
For sure. Like I have neighbors in Topanga who are like bathing in their menstrual
no,
blood
you
and
don't need
like
to do that.
painting with
No.
it. You know what I mean? I know
No.
a bitch who paints
It's
with
so
her
funny.
period
Yeah,
blood.
I spent a little bit of time with Marilyn Manson. He does a lot of that. He has his
No.
own. Yeah, he has a personal painter that follows him around, collects his girlfriend's period blood. And
No.
paints with it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was in my past life,
In your past life?
pre-sobriety.
Playing in
Yeah.
period blood. But people are saying that it's nutrient. It's so fresh with nutrients. Putting in
Just
their plants.
eat a good diet. Sure, put it in your plants if you want to collect your period blood from your period cup, whatever. I mean, yeah, I think that as women, we there's a disconnect in our bodies.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is just programming, and part of it is that we don't menstruate together anymore. We don't birth together anymore. We don't.
Wait, people were birthing together?
Yeah.
A birth orgy?
What?
What?
No, but when we used to live together in tribes, the women's cycles would sync up, usually with the cycle of the moon, new moon and full moon. And
That I'm into. That makes sense to me.
And when we would get pregnant at various times, women, we would midwife each other, doula each other, birth with each other. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get everyone to get pregnant at the same time so we can have a birth orgy. Birth orgy.
There
What?
you go. Yeah.
That makes it seem way less scary.
Well, that's the thing. It's like,
Community.
unless you've witnessed normal, natural, physiological birth, like you just don't know what's normal and what's not. And so there's a fear of the unknown, and what's underneath the fear of the unknown is that there's not a higher power or a God or a divine anything taking care of you.
Yeah, it's about surrendering, which can be so fucking scary with everything.
Yeah.
Just letting go. One thing I have a problem with is letting go.
Yeah. We don't have enough time for that today,
That's
Sarah.
its own podcast. Letting go is its own 2-hour.
I mean, again, it's like, it's a fear. I love Pema Chodron. Have you ever read any of her work?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. There's 2 books that I'll recommend to you: When Things Fall Apart and The Places That Scare You. And
okay, the titles are both.
Yeah. And in the book, When Things Fall Apart, she gives this amazing analogy about life. And I'm totally going to botch this, so go read the book because it's going to be way more eloquent than anything that I could say. But she talks about the free fall of life. And she talks about how life is a free fall. Imagine that you're just floating, falling infinitely through space and time.
Mm-hmm.
And in this free fall, there's options. You can go down kicking and screaming, right? This fucking sucks. I hate this. Why is this happening to me again? I don't want to live like this anymore. God damn it. Da, da, da. Like, you can totally
do that.
Go down kicking and screaming. You can go down hoping and praying, which is essentially the same thing as kicking and screaming, but a softer way. Dear God, please, 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 please protect me. Please protect my kids. Please, please, please. Living in fear nonstop. It's miserable.
Right.
It's miserable. Or you can soften in the free fall and open your arms and allow whatever comes your way to pass through you and to allow it to be your teacher. And I just love the idea of opening my arms and softening in the free fall. And that requires a faith. I know a lot of people, especially in our generation, are like non-religious and non-spiritual. But I really do believe that there's something. And so whatever that is,
For
even
sure
if it's
there's
just
something.
even if it's just like universal love or whatever it might be, we can trust that that's taking care of it, and that we don't have to manage and control, because it ultimately leads to destruction 100% of the time. Even when I think that I'm doing things out of loving kindness, sometimes it's not. It's out of manipulation and deceit. It's like you know, and I could totally think in the moment that, you know, it's always driven by fear, 100 forms of fear. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it is in the letting go and in the surrender that things just fall into place every time.
And like what
and
you were
birth
saying
is the
before.
biggest force of that, right? Because it's like this baby's coming, period. Whether you like it or not, baby's coming.
Yeah, that's scary.
So soften in the free fall.
Well, that's profound. But also what you said before about this is happening for me, not to me.
Yeah.
That's really interesting because there's been periods of my life where I'm like, I am working so hard. Why am I not seeing the financial benefit of this happening right this second? Like, why is this not happening right now for me? And it was like the character building in times when you don't have any money. Let me tell you, sweetie, you get funnier.
Yeah. You put your feet on Foot Finder.
Yeah, exactly. You increase your wiki feet score.
Yeah, there you go. No, I 100% agree. You know, it's in those like, moments of like the dirt that, you know, here we go with some like stupid, you know, metaphorical bullshit, but that the life is born, you know, that the plants grow. Yeah, but you have to get in the dirt sometimes.
But I'm like, listen, I'm tired of having dirt under my fingernails.
I know, but even that, oh God, okay, we're just gonna do a coaching session someday.
I'm gonna have to get coached.
Yeah, because even that is, that's just a part of you. You know what I mean? That just doesn't feel like things will work out unless you push and apply pressure.
That's which is not true. Mm-hmm. I need to be in my feminine receptivity mode.
Yeah, or you just need to become a little bit more mindful and listen to the next right step. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because often, like, the answers are there when we're really listening.
That makes sense. And when I also find them when I go outside, or come back to myself, and that's why I love living in the canyon, because I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter what's happening, what meetings anyone has. I'm just gonna go hang out by the trees and come back to myself.
Love that.
Yeah. That's our podcast.
Thanks.
It was so much fun.
So good.
Do you have anything you want to promote, and where can people find you?
I mean, you can follow me on social media.
We'll link to it.
Yeah, you can link to it. And if you're interested in coaching with me, you can just email me at alexis@recoveringfromreality.com.
Awesome.
Same thing for birth doula stuff. Any of you Topanga hippies that listen to Sarah's podcast.
Yes, I'm sure there's some knocked up hippie right now looking for her doula to come through. This is your doula. Have a birthing orgy. Let's go. And that's our episode. And thank you to Mastermind Studio. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Bye. I just need to do an intro.
Yeah, for sure. And then Alexis really fast. I think you should just like smile in this camera.
Oh God. Okay.
Great. Thank you
Hopefully
so much.
that looks okay.